Okay, so what's going on?
Well, I'm feeling a lot better than last time we talked.
We talked on...
It was on Monday.
On Monday, and it's Thursday, so we're talking a little bit sooner, but that's good.
Yeah. The next day after I had caught some sleep, I was a little bit tired. The day was broke, and then hormones and everything. And then I listened to our talk again, and I just realized that I was kind of sympathizing with, I guess, like with my captor is how I feel. Like, I'm like trying to stay in there feeling, awful. And it's not so bad, Oh my gosh. So I feel like I let that go.
That's amazing. You realize that's like, have you heard the sessions where I talk about battered wife syndrome or Stockholm syndrome? That this is like, yes, and you do try to adapt to it, because that's in one sense you're trying to survive. So you're going to survive. You have to, but at the same time, what you have to do to adapt to that is horrendous. Yeah. It is isolating. It is inhumane. It's absolutely ridiculous. So you have to look at, what do you get? Really ask the question, what am I getting from this that would make this type of psychological misery worth it? Yeah. Right?
And I think that's just what helped me let go, because nothing but misery, my God,
comes out of it. And so you have to release what you thought you were going to get out of it. It's like releasing people liking you.
Exactly.
Releasing people's approval. It's the emotions that are coming from other people that you have to let go of.
Yeah. Let me tell you what happened just as I was going out the door, because I had to kind of drive away so that I could have some privacy and reception for my phone.
No problem.
So right when I was getting ready to go, my little boy, he's been kind of a stinker today because he's hungover from candy from Halloween.
Yeah.
And so when we were playing, I was being a monster. I'm going to get you. And he's like, Mom, you're ugly. And it stopped me, And then I was trying to think of a way to say it. And then I told him, honey, even if you think that about somebody or something, you shouldn't say that to people, because that hurts their feelings, And he's like, but I do think it. And I was like, oh my God, I just felt like brokenhearted, and I had to go off and take a minute so I didn't just melt down in front of him. I'm like, okay, so this is something, even if he thinks that, I have to be okay with that.
Yeah, and you have to be able to say, okay. Yeah, so if someone, even your son says, you're ugly, Mom, you can go, that's right.
Yeah.
And don't you just love me anyways? And he would have gone, yes, I do.
Yeah. I was like, I cried a little because, it's just like, the one that you would think you're the princess or the queen,
Yeah, but he's not placating to social standards. So to him, he doesn't think that's a big deal. To him, he's like, why would anybody care? Why does that matter? So to him, it wasn't a put down. To you, you've been conditioned and programmed. Yeah. So you're like, that's bad. And he's just like, I don't know. It's just the way it is. And so he didn't. So how you? Oh my God, potato for reals? Can you hear him?
Yeah, potato.
Okay, let me go open the door. Hold on. You are not going to eat this. Look it. Right here. There you go. Oh my God. There was food on my counter and he was just like barking at it. Yeah. And there's kibble in his bowl, right? I just haven't had time to cut up chicken for him. So, and he just hates kibble. He hates it. He'll wait until he's starving. So anyways, so what an awesome moment for you to be okay with that. You know, it's no different than my kids finding me annoying. Mom, you are so annoying. You know, they cannot stand. Today, I was in the car with my youngest daughter, Susie, and I was like, so what's going on at school? She's in 7th grade, and I'm like, I know there's drama. What's the drama? She's like, Mom. I was like, come on, let's talk about it. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, well, how did it make you feel? Like, if you're fighting, and let's talk about these things. And she was just like, oh my God. You know. And you got to be okay with it. You just got to be good with who you are. And that's really, really what you've been lacking.
Yes.
So if you're not good with who you are and comfortable with yourself, how can you be okay if other people aren't comfortable with you? I mean, you have to be. The other thing is, if you're relying on other people to get you to be comfortable with yourself, how long does it last when someone actually gives you a compliment? How long does that actually last? The moment that someone says, I like you.
Yeah, just in that moment, and then it's done.
It's gone. So it's never really fulfilling. It never really gives you what you thought it would give you. And so if you really want that feeling, why can't you just love yourself? If you can be loving instead of wanting love, if you can be loving towards yourself, then what happens to your need for validation from others?
Yeah, then I'm not striving to try and get it.
Not at all. Not only are you striving not to get it, but that gives you freedom. Let's just go into that one aspect alone. If you are loving yourself as you are in reality, that means there's no conditions you have to meet. Except for the ones that find you joy. Except for things that you're interested in. And then there's lenience around the outcome. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best, right? So all those outside perceptions around approval, like competition or having to win, more winningness than competition. I enjoy competition, but I don't care if I lose or win.
Right.
Unless it's with my husband, then I got to win all the time. I'm kidding. But I don't, you don't take it serious. I guess the word is taking the seriousness out of competition.
Right.
Right. Some people, winning is how they validate themselves. So if they lose, it affects them emotionally. Right. Because it makes them feel what's the emotion about themselves they're trying to repress. Right. They're trying to repress feelings of I'm inadequate and I suck. And so when something that shows evidence of humanness, right, like I lost the game, those feelings that they're trying to repress show up, right? And they may try to hide it by fighting, putting down their opponent. They're going to try to hide feelings of inadequacy by making an excuse. Oh, I was sick, or oh, my ankle hurts,
Wow. Yep.
Or they might just hide and cower,
Yeah.
So in the case of, like, you could say with binge eating, that's like trying to, binge eating is a lot of things, but when we look at the foundation of it, don't you agree that the shame and the feelings of inadequacy that you carry because you're defined by the body and its obesity ultimately is being projected into how you respond to dieting and food? I lose my train of thought there.
No, I was trying to think. Okay, so
what emotions are you afraid of when it comes to your body's obesity? What are you trying to hide from? What do you want to avoid? And it's what you described. It's like, well, the only reason why I'm accommodating to this culture and doing the things that are inhumane, or at least holding myself to it, and then just feeling like shit because I can't do it, right? Like is because I'm afraid that I am inadequate. So the feeling of inadequacy. Bring that forward. You are sucky. You suck.
Yeah.
Right? Who'd ever thought a coach would do this? You suck.
Yeah.
You're inadequate. You really suck at it. Bring it forward.
Yeah.
Breathe it in.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the emotion. A lot of it is just you're afraid of emotion. I'm afraid to feel that. I want to feel it, so I avoid it. I deny it. I avoid it. I suppress it.
Yeah.
Well, let's pull it out. What if you actually do suck? For reals. What if you are literally the worst dieter on the planet? For some reason, you got some genetic DNA that says hard as soon as you feel repressed, right? Or deprived.
Yeah.
What if you do?
Yeah, that's me. Yep.
So should you keep on doing that?
No.
What's happening to your body? The more you hold yourself to these standards that are clearly unachievable.
Yeah. That's what really brought it to light, too, when you were talking about the picture that I was obsessing over last week.
Yeah.
And then how you would see it. That really made me realize, like, oh my gosh, because I was thinking, oh, she's going to see, my happy face because I was really having a good time, But the body, is like
I see what created it. I see what created that.
The evidence of the dysfunctional, dieting and all that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, and of course, if you're defined by that, how can you be happy? I mean, you were in the moment, but how can you, again, if you were truly loving of yourself and your struggle, right? And understanding of it. It's like the times in my, really long ago YouTube videos where I talked about people rocking themselves in a chair. Like, why can't you do that for yourself and have some compassion for your reality? How this happened. This was a fucking shit show.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? The strict restrictions were too intense. And the degree of work too much. And the length of time way too absurd and inhumane. Because the amount of fat that you expect to lose is out of reach.
Yeah. Yep.
100 pounds. Out of reach.
Yeah.
So it's overwhelming. It feels like you're at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
And no wonder you were paralyzed and eating food in fear of all of the depriving, right? The years of deprivation that you had in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? So the compassion around that.
Yeah.
Who's going to give that to you?
Only me.
I know. It's like your son is going to be like, I don't know. Clueless. Your husband, still clueless. People, people listen to these YouTube videos are still going, wow, I never thought of that before. Clueless.
Right.
Until it goes, oh my God, that is the truth. How am I, who's going to understand why this is so hard and give it a voice?
Me only. Nobody can.
I can't.
Unless they've been through it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I can't even do it either. All I'm doing is saying, face it. All I'm doing right now is kind of asking the question and in a way, guiding you to answer it.
Right.
Right. So, face your fears right now. I mean, if everything is about, I'm afraid that I am unlovable. That's really what it comes down to. If we look at our human nature, if we go simply to it, we go to the root cause of this, it is our evolutionary survival psychology as pack animals to want to feel that we have something to give to our pack, that we have something of quality that will allow us to be loved.
Yeah.
But Right? And we all are wired that way. I'm wired that way. My dog is wired that way. Potato likes to guard for some reason. Maybe that's his way of saying I'm qualified. So we want to feel qualified, but will it ever get fulfilled when someone else has to tell you you're qualified?
No.
Fleeting.
Wow.
Even if your mom says, "Oh, honey, you're the best. I love you," you're going to find some reason why it doesn't matter. Because she's my mom.
Yeah.
Your husband. And your son is like, without even him knowing, is, putting you down. He doesn't know what to put down, right? But because he's not brainwashed yet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's you cannot escape people's opinions.
Yeah.
So if you want to get rid of this kind of animal suffering of torture, you're going to have to decide that I am lovable. And it's not because of some condition. That's the other thing. It has to be unconditional. If you attach conditions to it, then you have to focus on those conditions. So you don't really get the freedom either. You don't really go into those current surviving levels of consciousness where you can go into courage and love and enlightenment, right?
Right.
You could stay down in your defensiveness mode, right? So we could say, well, that's why I'm trying to lose weight, because I want to feel better about myself. So what you're doing is you're saying, well, the body has to change to validate me. So I'm going to use the body to validate me. It's like a weird way of thinking that you're taking control, but in reality, you're still dependent on some outside object to validate your value, because you're not validating it yourself. You're using some materialism,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
and
I was having a thought earlier too. I was out doing some yard work and I was irritated. I was like, why isn't my husband helping me? And blah, blah, blah. And I started going off into this path, like, and then I was like, oh, well, I'm going through this therapy and, why am I still thinking like this? I'm like, and then that thought came because I thought once I get this body image situation that everything's going to be okay. So in a way, I was still thinking that once the body gets fixed, that everything else is going to fall into place. I was like, I don't know if that made sense.
Yes, totally. You're not looking at my current reality is this. I can either not accept it and feel gypped and pissed off and victimized by my husband and get angry, and then, or I can just say, you know what? I'm going to do this whether he's here or not. So
that's what I just like. Oh no, I'm not going to think about that, and we're going to move on and get this done.
Shut up! Shut up! It's just been a long day. It's been a long time.
One last part.
It's just, God damn it. I'm such a victim to my dogs. Anyway, so, how, one way to think of this is the moment you go outside of, moment you expect life to be something other than it is, you're going to suffer.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Now, there's a degree, right, of acceptance that we can accept reality. And then eventually it's like we have to make changes.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that too. Like being a battered wife. There's a degree that they go into, right, with Stockholm Syndrome, where they adapt to abusive environments. Right?
Yeah.
So they're accepting abusive environments, right? And it ends up becoming work to just stay neutral. It's a ton of work for neutrality. That's distorted, Okay, the goal is that you live in a non-distorted reality where you feel what you're doing and being asked to experience in reality is within your grasp. It isn't extremely sacrificial. And if it is sacrificial, that there is a balance in the reward of the sacrifice, right? Like, I brush my teeth. That's rewarding.
Yeah.
I picked up leaves and mowed the lawn today. It was gratifying to see the leaves picked up. So that there was sacrifice in the yard work, right? So there's a balance in it all, right?
Right.
You know, all of this is actually useless if you're in a state of consciousness that is victimized. So if someone's in the victim position or in that victim lower states of consciousness, they're going to feel victimized that I have to rake the goddamn leaves.
Yeah. That's what I started to do. And I'm like, oh, no, we're not going down this road. And it feels easier after, I feel, like that definition of the survival mode where my brain doesn't feel like it's all inflamed and, depressed. And so when those things come up, it feels like it's easier for me to recognize it and deal with it now.
Well, you have a technique of dealing with it, which is accept it. Oh, someone threw an egg at me. Okay. You just accept it. You invite it in, and you, instead of taking your emotions so seriously, you question them.
Yeah.
Why am I feeling this way? You start to try to orientate yourself. Let's get orientated. Like, what am I really? Is this really something to be pissy about?
Right.
He's not helping. I mean, I felt that way with my husband. Goddamn lazy ass son of a bitch. Some of that is normal like sibling and being married to each other, and he's probably felt that way about me.
Yeah.
And I have to accept whatever his shit is, and he has to accept mine.
Exactly.
For us to stay married.
Yeah. Or I could just go be alone somewhere.
Yes.
And still have to do the hard work on my own.
Every time we have moved, and I've moved a ton with my husband, he loathes packing and moving. He hates it. Yeah. And so he gets all bitchy when we have to do it. And so I end up doing everything because I was raised to be a worker. I'm an ox.
Yeah.
When it comes to this stuff, I am an ox. And I understand that about myself, but being raised amongst other oxes in our 10 sibling family, we just, you don't stop working until everybody's done, and he wasn't taught that. He wasn't taught that. His mother hired someone. His dad was always gone. They could do just shit work around the house and get away with it. Whereas in my family, it was far more perfectionistic in terms of the quality of work that you're doing. Anyway, so I've had to stop. Come on. So let's go back to this way of being. So someone who is in a state of survival, which always stems from being victim to your suckiness, victim to other people not validating you enough, victim to life not being easy or easy enough, or not getting what you think you deserve, or whatever it is. If you're in that state of mind, can you see how you're looking for it? There's, for some reason, you're getting joy out of it. There's something pleasurable you get out of it. Whether it's I get to fight, I get to demand things, And so when we're trying to reverse this into surviving or above survival, where you feel safe and comfortable, and the emotion is really lovingness, right? So you could forgive something as simple as him not necessarily coming out to help you. For whatever he was doing, you gave him the grace of that. You become very loving around it.
Yeah.
And you stay inside your space of raking leaves. It would make no sense to become a victim. Why would you create that drama? Like, what do you get out of that drama? It's like, why? You know, when you caught that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, that sucks. No, it's not worth it. And have you noticed that the emotion that the resent just kind of melts away?
Exactly. Yeah, because I would have been in a full-on pouting fit, tossing stuff around in the house after, and I'm so tired.
Yeah, that's that's like being controlling. That's like the martyr position and manipulative to be controlling over what you expected him to do and what he's not doing as if he's your slave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? You really do learn to let people be themselves as you let yourself be yourself.
Wow. Yeah.
And again, if there's criticism coming at you from other people, if you're allowing yourself to be yourself, does whatever they say matter, even if it's true?
Yeah, no.
Not really. Not really. Even if it's true, if you don't inherently understand why you're doing it, you're not going to change it. It's not going to change. There's no amount of someone saying that right there is lazy. That's going to change your laziness.
Right. Yeah.
You know? It's no different than me saying, okay, well, if you want to recover, what you're going to need to do is accept your body the way it is and give it the grace and black it out from your importance and be okay with everybody shaming you and judging you and not liking you. I can say that all I want, but until you actually grasp that concept intrinsically, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to go into the emotions of it, right? So many people can hear it. They hear it intellectually and go, well, that would make sense because then you don't have this pressure and then you don't have to worry about dieting and thank the Lord above I've been saved after that, right?
Yeah.
But until they go into, holy shit, I have to really accept this and live with it. Until you experience what I'm describing and you experience those emotions that come up from being repressed. Because if we say you have to be this size, all of the emotions that you've been chasing and trying to hide in both directions with body image are now going to come forward. Yeah. And if you're scared to face them, you're never going to get the experience of that freedom.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So you can hear the directions. It's like I can read the scriptures, I can read the Bible, and I can hear these stories, but it's freaking useless until I experience what it feels like to have faith. I can hear faith talks about faith. I can hear love your neighbor. Okay, well, how do you do that when your neighbor just threw a bag of shit on your door?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm supposed to love your... How do you do that? Well, you need to be loving. How do you be loving in that situation?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can read a self-help book all I want. I can read about body image all you want. You can hear and watch videos for 2 years about recovery and listen to it all you want.
Yeah, but it has to get in here and be personal.
And you have to open yourself up to these emotions that you do not want to feel. You're afraid of them. I'm afraid of rejection. I feel rejected. Well, feel the rejection. Is it as bad as you thought it was? Is that rejection, if you feel it, is it as bad comparatively to everything you had to do to avoid rejection? Compare those two.
No.
So we're just feeling these emotions, aren't we?
Yeah.
How long do you want to sit in your fear of rejection, suffering with all the work you have to do? How long do you want to do this? How much longer do you want to suffer?
Not another minute.
So can you let go of that suffering? And if you let go of that suffering, then you're opening yourself up to rejection.
Yeah.
So go into being rejected. What's really cool about this is that being rejected really lasts a very short period of time. Suffering and fear of rejection lasts your whole life.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where we go into that vision of people are going to come in. Let's invite your whole family. Let's invite your husband to see your body and say, I quit.
Yeah.
Feel the rejection. Feel people saying, well, she's a piece of shit. It's no different than them going, you're amazing. It's very temporary.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone else's opinion, whether it's positive or negative, is very, very temporary effect on you.
Yeah.
It's no different than the Astros winning the World Series last night. How do you think they are going to feel in a month?
Yeah, it'll be over.
They have another season they're already focused on.
All the hype is done.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that it wouldn't be really freaking awesome to have that ring and to be able to, that's pretty epic. But it's not going to carry over into next year. They have to start over with the game one. Right?
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's not like they stay at the top. They're not the king of the hill forever.
Yeah.
But college football.
Next year.
Yeah, the moment they win or lose that game, they're on to the next game. I mean, it's like, boom, go. So it's kind of the same in terms of like extrinsic validation or rejection, which is very fleeting compared to internal validation and rejection.
Yeah.
When you reject yourself, that's perpetual. When you love yourself, that is also perpetual.
Yeah.
So, do you want to feel that you suck? Let's go into the feeling of you suck. Do you want to feel negative about that? Do you want to feel embarrassed about it?
No.
Notice how I'm not saying you don't suck. I'm saying you do suck. Let's talk about the feelings of it, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to feel in your inadequacy that there's something wrong with you?
No.
Can you let it go now? Can you just say, well, then I'm not going to? What's wrong? Yeah. What's wrong with being wrong? What's wrong with being flawed? If it's true, what's the point of denying it?
Yeah, and just struggling through it. And
trying to hide it, trying to fix it.
Pretend like it's not the truth, right?
Yeah, hold that emotion. Tell me what that feels like. Pretending it's not true, trying to hide it, constantly trying to fix it. Always in fear of it being exposed. I feel that. That's what you've been holding on to. Right? That's what you've been doing. So it's like, compare the two. Accepting that you suck.
Yeah.
Because whatever it is, it's what it is. And being in denial isn't going to change it.
Right.
Fixing it hasn't changed it.
No.
Even if you do meet your standards of excellence, you still feel like you suck because there's someone more. So the suckiness is always still there. So let's bring it forward. Why did just say I suck?
I suck.
You're right. So?
Yeah.
So what?
Who cares? Who cares? Whatever.
Right? It's like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with aging. I'm okay that I have these lines here. I'm okay that I have all these wrinkles, right? I'm witnessing my body age. And you know what? So?
Yeah. I went to a party on Halloween and everybody there was super beautiful, I would say. And when I was being introduced to people, I would kind of get the eyes, like up and down kind of disapproval look. And I didn't really feel like negative about it that time. That was like the first time I ever felt comfortable in a situation like that, where I could see that people were, kind of, they looked, like they were judging me, and it didn't bother me. Mm-hmm. Before I would have just crumbled and hid and
coward. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'd still be like crying about it 2 days or 3 days later. But I haven't felt really,
Well, you can give them the grace of not really understanding how tortured the torture it took to be this size.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't understand it. So you got to forgive them because they really don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
See, now you understand. Now you understand the scriptures.
Yeah, forgive them for...
They don't know what they're doing. Yeah, it's ignorance. Yeah. Ignorance, the best quote ever was from my favorite guru, Dr. David R. Hawkins. He said, all sin is ignorance.
Yeah. Yep.
It comes out of ignorance. You're ignorant and think you know something and you act on it. And all of a sudden, reality proves otherwise. Sin.
Right. Wow.
But no one really necessarily sins intentionally, even if they know this is wrong. I knew when I was enraged, when I felt fat, I was really mean to my husband.
Yeah.
Just short-tempered, dark place, irritated, agitated. I didn't want him in my way of purging or exercising, and so I would have to hide it and whatever. And I remember knowing, I know I'm being such a bitch, but I don't know how to stop. I don't know.
Exactly.
So underneath it, even if someone knows they're being abusive, they don't necessarily know why. So it's very hard to stop.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Right? And so I get it too, which is why I see it so forgivable. I get clients who have that rage towards me because I'm threatening their ego, their juice, their thinness. Right? And they think I'm the one causing their withdrawals.
Yeah.
But the withdrawals actually come from their own survival mechanism. I'm just bringing up these repressed emotions, right?
Yeah.
Or at least pointing them out. And on the outside, I can't make them accept them and not be a victim to those emotions. So often people get very offended and create drama.
Oh, wow.
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't get my feelings hurt. It's like, I can't make you drink the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that means that I suck, I'll take it. I suck at this. Right? See how sucking and accepting that you're inferior and inadequate is the truth at all times.
Yeah.
Why do we have to hide that? I am inadequate. I'm not doing a good job with you right now. I'm okay with that. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, because then you don't end up with a super high expectation and hating yourself or something later,
Yeah, I don't. And I don't know, it creates healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
And it also forces you to take responsibility.
Right.
Which I cannot take any responsibility for your recovery. I can't.
Right.
That would mean that you have to be a slave to me. And that is not how this works. This is really just me encouraging you, go this direction. And if you're not willing to go that direction, it's not my fault.
Right.
Some people think it's my fault because going that direction sucks. Then it is my fault, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and then it makes the person kind of catastrophize, and then you become a victim again.
Totally. For me, this doesn't work for me.
Help me.
Right? It's amazing, and I can see it happening. In fact, I can kind of tell when I start working with someone that they might be sensitive to that because they're victimized by everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they are raging about their parents and refuse to forgive him. It's just like, okay, this person's going to get mad at me next.
Yep. I'm just waiting for it to
Totally. It's like I'm going to say something wrong. I'm going to make a face, and they're going to be super offended and feel that I am disrespecting. And it's like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and maybe they'll never figure it out in this lifetime, and that's okay.
That sucks. Yeah.
Sucks for them. I don't. Yeah. It doesn't affect me because I can't take responsibility, and some people want that. They think when they pay me that Robin's going to have a success rate with her clients that are successful, and they think it's because of me. No.
Yeah. So basically, it's like trying to buy another diet.
Totally.
Yeah. Wow. Because it's going to fix everything.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll be thin, and Robin's going to help me to hunger, and she's going to help me, love myself, and then I'll be thin, so I can love myself when I'm thin. Because when I'm thinner, then I'll be happier, because I can't be inherently happy. Happiness has to come from the condition of the body.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought earlier when I had to take a minute from my son saying that he thought I was ugly. He's not even 4 yet. And I thought, who cares if I am?
I know. My response would have been, I know.
I was like, wow.
I would have made some terrible face, and I would have been like, I know I'm so ugly. I would have.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to respond to it yet, so that's actually really good. I'm just going to, if he says anything like that to me again or if something happens later, I'm just going to go, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what? I can handle that because I'm cool. And I love who I am on the inside, so I'm not as putting much credence in my body. But there are people out there that would break their heart because it feels like you don't love them.
Yeah.
Because for some reason they think being attractive equates to love. I don't know why. Maybe it's because that's programmed.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Attraction equates to love. Really? Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Right, because you could look at this and go, my son loves me so much. And it has absolutely, he thinks I'm ugly. And he loves me so much.
Yeah, he still loves me. Oh, yeah, that's a really good way to see it too. Yeah. Aw.
Right? True love. True love.
Yep.
What if you could feel that for yourself?
Yeah.
That would be the goal. Is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I get older, my hair gets gray. It doesn't matter if I lose my teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, I have wrinkles or whatever.
Or if I lose weight and my skin's all saggy. Or if I don't lose weight. It's just like, it's not important. We're going to remove the importance. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have self-care. Again, there's a balance point.
Yeah.
It's just not important to suffer for anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been something amazing too. Learning self-care. Like, not just like the regular, like sanitary, like brushing teeth, but I'm talking about like self-care, like taking a moment out to read something I want to read or take a bath and enjoy it quiet without the thoughts in my head milling around how horrible everything is. And it's been pretty amazing to realize, the self-care thing. Mm-hmm. Like the emotional self-care, I guess.
Well, yeah, and just honoring your experience in this life. I mean, look at your son and notice that he has an experience. He's experiencing life right now. And don't you want to be where he's at?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why not? Why can't you do that?
Yeah.
Why do you have to why do you have to suffer the way you are?
Right.
Because I'm fat. So?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
You don't have to suffer. This is a choice.
Right. Yep.
That's the other thing people don't realize. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Because you could choose. It is not important. And then what happens to all that pressure? What happens to feeling like you can't breathe?
Yeah, that's
what
gone.
happens, right? And it's a gun, and it's really rapid. It's like, isn't that surprising?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when negative feelings arise, don't be afraid of them.
Yeah. At first I was thinking that, if I'm really free from this, then I shouldn't be having that thought or feeling, and I'm like, that's insane. That would just be insane. Like all of a sudden Robin gave me some happy pill or something.
Some people, it's rapid, but for most people, it's a process. There is a process to certain levels of how relationships. And so when it comes to you and your body, you might have surrendered it, but you have a relationship with your husband who has a relationship with your body. And you have a child that's a really. So you have to be able to kind of re-relate to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And some people aren't that close to death to where it is like this. I mean, that is, I don't see this very often where it is like a happy pill. I have seen it. I experienced it that way. That is rare. I will say it is rare that it is permanent. So you can say there were moments where you went, oh my God, this is amazing. And then it went whoosh, away.
Yeah.
And then it came back. And then it'll go away. Then it can come back, right? And that's normal. That to me is normal.
Yeah.
Especially if the guidance I gave you isn't self-directed at the beginning. Right? So you're doing what I've asked with everything on a temporary pause.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's not going to be rapid.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, yesterday I had this thing happen, and I don't know if you'll connect with this, but my son and I were just kind of hanging out, and a show came on that he didn't want to watch, so he grabbed the remote and he was turning the TV off and on, off and on, off and on. And I told him, oh no, you have to change the channel if you want something different. But so I felt like at that moment it just kind of clicked to me. I'm like, oh my God, am I just turning this off and on?
Yes. Actually, what you've done is you just push pause and go, okay, all right. Well, at some point I'm going to push play so I can lose weight. So you have this like, I feel so free. When do we go back to weight loss, Robin?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's what I see with almost everybody. So that's why it's not a click for you.
God, I just want to punch it in the face.
So what you do is and I've talked about this, I'm like, you have to make a contract that is coming from your heart, not from me telling you what to do, expecting certain outcomes. It's not coming from me trying to manipulate you. It's not because I'm trying to convince you. It's because you really, truthfully are done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually going to push power and throw the TV away. I don't want the program.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't want it anymore. It's not, I'm being made to. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So you surrender it. And that is releasing so much that it does feel like you're in a totally different state of being. And you'll notice physically the body ailments go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that glimpse. a couple weeks ago, like I felt like I was floating, and then blasted, went away.
Well, you pushed pause.
Yes.
So you felt what it's like to be free from that TV or brainwashing.
Yeah.
It's like out of the matrix. I'm not under the influence anymore. I'm in my reality now. But the moment someone says, you really should lose weight, you went, you're right. I'm going to go sit in front of the TV. Push play.
Gosh, dang it.
And you're just like, yeah, being brainwashed by this TV that is, literally damaging you psychologically and emotionally and physically.
Oh my God. Just
because you think you're going to get something beneficial out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, well, at some point it becomes realized. When there's a realization, it becomes real. So it's realized.
Yeah.
Okay? Or in other words, it's internalized as reality. And you want to make it your reality. The only way to make it your reality is to, we can say, push eject or get rid of the programming altogether. So that, you know what, I don't need a program anymore. I don't need someone to tell me what religion I should be. I don't need someone to tell me what being good or bad is anymore. I don't need to, for some people, they might need that. For someone unevolved, they need rules. They're very animalistic in their nature. Psychopaths need laws.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
Me neither. I can trust my instincts, right? So I don't need the TV. I don't need the program. I don't need any, because even if someone tells me what to do, if I don't really understand it from within, I'm not going to do what they're telling me to do because I don't understand it. This is why I don't read books, self-help books. I stopped reading self-help books the moment I recovered. I stopped moving forward because I knew I don't want anything reprogramming me. I just want to be authentic with my own progress as a human being, with my own evolution spiritually. I don't want something to tell me what I should be prior to me being there because I don't know. I'm not there. Even if they say I should be there, I'm not there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be real with where I'm at and learn organically from the inside. And I give myself the freedom because I am worthy of it. And I am validating my worth. I am lovable, livable, and worthy as a human being. And I feel that way even if I lose my arms and legs and become like the largest person on the planet. I mean, physicality-wise, what does your physicality have to do with the ownership of the life that the body's giving you?
Right.
Nothing.
Really.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Your will is what you're owning. My will is wonderful. I have a wonderful will. So I'm going to let that run the show. I know it's loving. I'm a loving person. I'm a caring person. I don't mean harm to anybody.
Yeah, I had a problem with that part right there because I was like, I am such an asshole. Do I really not want to harm people? Like, maybe I do. And that's why I have a hard time connecting with that. Is that terrible? That's terrible.
That you're an asshole? Well, maybe you don't understand why.
Yeah, like, I don't want to hurt people. But,
that's the key. You don't want to hurt people. Yeah. And, you can look at the asshole that you characterize yourself by and go, well, that has a lot to do with when I'm raging.
Yeah.
In my avoidance of feeling inadequate.
Yeah.
So the truth of you is actually, we're as human beings, our nature is actually very loving. That's why we're so attracted to dogs and cats and caring for little birds that get hurt. We naturally gravitate to lovingness.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So start with the relationship you have with your body. Move out from there.
Yeah.
The key, I think, I know it was for me, was to make the relationship I have with my body completely unconditional. So,
yeah.
I don't need it to perform for me. It's for performing whether I agree with it or not. So,
right.
I'm in it. And so, it's like my back pain. I'm not a victim to that. I certainly don't want to agitate it anymore, and hopefully can help heal it if I can, but I'm not going to feel victim to chronic back pain, having to get up every hour, having to do all this, preventative work. Yeah. It's something that's there, but it is not, again, this comes from my state of consciousness. If I was in a lower state of consciousness, this would be evidence that life sucks.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I'd become obsessive about it.
Oh, wow.
Because my life will be so much better. And so then my life becomes about my back, right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Well, so before we finish, is there anything in particular, besides talking about this process, which is so cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
If you had known 20 years ago just to face these shitty feelings and really look at them and feel them and stop being afraid of them and understand them and stop repressing them and running away from them and fighting them. All you got to do is experience the emotion and understand it and let it go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I wish I would have done that a long time ago.
Well, think of how it would change how you navigate, right? It would change decisions you make around what you can do, what you shouldn't do, your effort. Again, your will devoted to something. You probably would never have devoted your will to weight loss. Ever.
Yeah.
Why would you waste your life like that?
Yeah. And it's literally been at least 25 years of just thinking I'm going to be losing weight someday, or starting tomorrow, or for that long.
Yeah, and you know what? It served a purpose.
Yeah.
And now you know.
Yep.
This is what you had to do to learn to face these emotions.
Yeah.
How did you find me, by the way?
I was searching probably eating disorder help. And then one of your videos popped up. I don't remember the first one I saw. It's been a couple of years. But yeah, I was probably searching like eating disorder.
Well, I'm happy you found it.
Yeah.
You were ready for it. At least by the time you reached out, you were ready. You were like, God damn it, I gotta have to commit to this.
I know.
Okay, well, keep on kicking butt. Let's get scheduled for next week.
Okay.
Let me turn this off.